Good morning. We're about to get this started here in just a bit. Just waiting on a few more parents to show up.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
¿Siga viendo?
You can say this.
Okay, so buenos días.
Good morning, everybody.
So we're going to switch that up for the rest of this presentation. It's so exciting to see everybody here in person.
Ahora sí me va a tocar en español. Estamos muy agradecidos de verlos aquí en persona.
And we see we have some of you on Zoom, so that's good for this time. Next month, you got to come on in and see us as well, though. So it is nice to see faces in the building. And we call this our Parent Involvement Committee. And the whole idea is to get you involved in things that are going on at the school.
Y gracias a verlos a través de la computadora, esperemos que para el siguiente mes pueda venir aquí en persona con nosotros. Esta es la junta de participación entre los padres aquí en la escuela para que se participen un poquito más aquí con nosotros en la escuela.
And I'm Renee Fairless. I'm the principal. People out in the traffic don't seem to understand that because when I'm running late, they don't move out of the way for me. But I am the lead principal of Matter Academy, so sort of the lead collaborator between all four schools, even the one up in Reno.
Ella es la directora principal de 4 academias aquí que tenemos que se llama Matter. En veces cuando está manejando en el tráfico la gente no la conoce y no la deja pasar como esta mañana, pero ella es la directora.
So there's a couple of things specifically they wanted me to talk about this morning. So let me just go into a couple of things. First of all, making sure that you understand that we are 100% Title I school, and then explain you what that means.
Lo primero que queremos decirles o que entiendan es que nuestra escuela es título 1, 100%, y ahorita les vamos a explicar lo que significa título 1.
So as a Title I school, you get that from your free and reduced lunch applications or what's called community eligibility. And so that means there's a large percentage of our families that actually get some sort of community support, and then that puts us in a category to be 100% community eligible. What that basically does is that we get Title I dollars. And so for the 3 schools, we got about $1.5 million in Title I funds.
Prácticamente lo que significa título 1 es que todos nuestros estudiantes reciben el desayuno gratis. Y también gran porcentaje de nuestros estudiantes y familias tienen recursos de la comunidad, que significa que son título 1. Este año, el año pasado, recibimos $1.5 millones a través de este título 1.
That sounds like a lot of money until you realize we have 1,900 students in our building, or 2 buildings, there will be 3 buildings soon, but we have 1,900 students. Most of that money is spent for computer technology, those types of devices, and also personnel. So for example, this year I added quite a few SEL supports, so social emotional learning support, just due to the fact that we are seeing such an increase of anxiety, depression, things like that among our youth.
Y a lo mejor $1.9 millones puede sonar que es mucho dinero, pero en realidad no lo es, porque tenemos 1,900 estudiantes aquí con nosotros. Nos están construyendo otro edificio que es para la secundaria, y también la directora puso unas personas para ayudar a la ayuda emocional a los estudiantes este año.
You know, I'm one of these people that I'm like, when the kids are here, we just want them to be happy. And, but we are seeing that there is a lot of anxiety that came out of the pandemic, and just kids have spent so much time on social media that now they're really having a hard time making that adjustment. And that was one of the other things I wanted to mention today. You know, I don't have as big of a group as I would like to have to talk about this, but I will send some things out. And it's really, really difficult with the students that have cell phones to get them to put those cell phones away because there's instant messaging or instant things that they can see. And I became part of the problem because Olga and I started making TikToks because we thought we would try to put some really positive stuff out there about our school. And I have to tell you, from the kids, I mean, they treat me like I'm a celebrity now. I'm not even a TikTok star, but they love that. They see me in the hallway and they're like, Travis, I saw you on TikTok. And so we're trying to bring that positive energy so that at least if they're spending their time on social media, they're spending it on something that's positive and something that's meaningful, as opposed to scrolling through things that are very negative.
Por causa de la pandemia, nosotros sabemos que nuestros estudiantes tienen un poquito más de ansiedad o problemas en esas materias, ¿verdad? Pero nosotros aquí en Matter, específicamente la directora, creó su TikTok y está haciendo TikTok y ya se hizo media famosa porque cuando va por los pasillos, los estudiantes le dicen, hey, yo te vi en TikTok. Pero la razón por la cual lo hizo eso es para que ellos puedan ver cosas positivas que están pasando aquí en nuestra escuela y usted también lo puede ver.
I just wanted to talk a little bit more about that. I was reading an article recently and it talked about the fact that as parents, that if your child has a phone, you have to become very well versed in what all the apps are. Because most of the apps now actually have what are called vaults, and a vault is a secret side to it. So they can give you their password, they can give you anything, but you only get to see part of it because there can be a secondary password that gets you to behind the scenes. So for example, there's one that's called #calculator, and it looks just like a calculator on the phone. But underneath of that, it's where you can get all sorts of images. And often these images are things that we don't really want our kids getting on the internet. There's another one that looks like a music app. And then that also is a hidden place for them to send messages and images that you can't see. So it's hard to stay on top of what's happening on social media. Most of us would like to think, not my kid, not my house, not their cell phone. But I have to tell you, I have two 20-year-olds that are both in college and work in this building. And it became a habit of when they went to sleep at night that I was all through that cell phone because they felt like it was an invasion of their privacy. And I understood that. But at the same time, I wanted to make sure that I could protect them. And, predators are out there and there's an app that actually will make me, a 62-year-old woman, look like I'm a 14-year-old girl. And so that way then I can be communicating with people. And that's how they're able to communicate with our students. And they think they're meeting some new friends, but they're actually meeting some people that, are not there for positive reasons.
Lo que estaba diciendo la directora es que prácticamente nosotros como padres tenemos que estar un poquito más precavidos con lo que están viendo nuestros estudiantes o nuestros niños, específicamente con aplicaciones en los teléfonos. Hay ciertas aplicaciones que usted ve la aplicación, pero no sabe que dentro de esa aplicación tiene una contraseña escondida, donde ellos pueden ver ciertas imágenes que no están bien o ciertas cosas que no están bien. Habló también un poquito René de que ella tiene estudiantes y que tiene sus hijos y que ella tuvo que hacer esto, ¿verdad? Que tuvo que ver las ciertas aplicaciones. Y es nada más para estar precavidos lo que están viendo nuestros estudiantes.
And just a couple more things for me. Usually the most asked question is, when is the building coming? And so I was told they should be getting the temporary occupancy permits the end of September, and we should be moving in the first week of October. And as you know, we're extremely crowded here right now. A lot of people criticize that. My cell phone's out there. I give it to everybody. If anybody here doesn't have it, you can certainly have it today, and we'll make sure that you do have it. But, a lot of parents will call me, and they're like, that's crazy the way your halls look and what you're doing. But the alternative was to start school late or to put people on Zoom. And I just didn't want to do that with kids. I figured we'd figure it out. And I have to tell you, yesterday I walked through both gyms. We have about 6-7 classes in each of our gyms. This is for middle school and high school. And when you walk through there, it's pretty cool. And in fact, while you guys are here today, when we finish, if anybody wants to take a tour with me, we'll walk through so that you can see what I see. But it's been pretty cool to see how they're actually embraced this. And I think when the kids realize that this was the alternative to either putting them on Zoom or not starting school until October or being in school until July, they've settled down and recognized this is just what we're doing. First couple of days were tough because it was just like anytime you open up a new road, there was a traffic jam. So we had to teach them different routes. And now that we've done that, the hallways are much, much better. So those are just a few of the things that I wanted to touch on. Ms. Storla, should I let them ask me questions now they have them, or you want me to wait till the end?
Lo que estaba diciendo la directora ahorita es que una de las preguntas que le están preguntando más en este tiempo, obvio, es cuándo va a estar ese edificio de la secundaria abierto. Ahorita lo que está diciendo la directora es que para finales de este mes y a principios de octubre ya tiene que estar abierto. Como no estaba abierto, ella tenía que hacer prácticamente escoger entre empezar la escuela un poquito más tarde o tener a los estudiantes aquí con nosotros. Y lo que queríamos es que nuestros estudiantes estuvieran aquí con nosotros. Ahorita, después de la junta, si usted quiere caminar en el gimnasio, en los dos gimnasios, tenemos clases en las diferentes esquinas del gimnasio. No es lo ideal, pero se está haciendo lo mejor y los niños y los estudiantes están aquí con nosotros, que es lo que queremos. No queremos que estén de nuevo a través de las computadoras.
I do want to take a minute also though to thank Silver Summit Health Plan that they are here sponsoring them today. So thank you for being here with us. Oh, you've got a great wave. He must have been a homecoming cleaner, something. So anyway, so thank you for being here. While I'm up here, do you have some specific questions that you'd like for me to answer? Ms. Olga and some of the others are going to go through other things. You can ask in English or Spanish. If you have specific questions for me, I'll go ahead and take those now.
Queremos dar gracias a Silver Summit por patrocinar aquí nuestro desayuno, gracias a ellos. Y ahorita vamos a abrir para que si usted tiene alguna pregunta específicamente para la directora, la puede hacer ahorita. ¿Alguien tiene alguna pregunta?
I know that recently people have been opening small businesses, especially during the pandemic, and I'm one of them that did it. And I know lately last year they started doing them at the schools. Is there a possibility that we could have a pop-up with the parents and get people involved and say like 10% of those sales go to the school? So when the heat coming down, because I know I deal with residents right in the summer will soften, but is there a way that we can get a meal and you have it at a school, have it here at the school, and then like I said, 10% of sales would go directly back to the school, but at the same time, the community can see what the business like and how this school is. So for like potential students.
La pregunta fue, durante esta pandemia muchos de los padres han tenido negocios chicos y si hay una posibilidad de que mi negocio chico pueda estar aquí en la escuela, no sé, unos días al mes, a la semana y darle un porcentaje de lo que gana a la escuela.
So the short answer is yes. The longer answer is no, because I have so many families that have businesses. I would have taco trucks and coffee trucks and all kinds of businesses here on a daily basis. But we do and will, once that new building's open, be sponsoring something almost every month where there's some sort of like a multicultural fair or a harvest festival or something, Christmas holidays. So we will be doing quite a few things, and we always invite families to come in and be a part of that, particularly when they have businesses. We did it in Mountain Vista. I certainly want to do it here. I also think like when summer school starts, of course you said you don't like to deal with the heat, but I know that's such a great time for people to be able to come in. We have some of our rooms that are empty and things like that. So yes, I love when our families, especially those that have businesses, are involved in the school. Another thing would happen, which would end up costing, but we have this digital display board that's in our gym that can run ads constantly. And so I've been trying to get the volleyball coach and the basketball coach to know the first thing we want to do is reach out to our families and maybe we can sell those ads to them at a discount before we hit the community places where that ad can run constantly. And then we can even say Matter Family at the bottom of it so people know those are businesses you really want to support. So same thing with us setting up like a volleyball. And I know the basketball team is going to do it where they'll have brochure, like a program. And so in the program, there will be coupons or things like that where people would know to go to those businesses.
La respuesta corta es sí, la respuesta larga es no. Prácticamente sí, porque sí tenemos, pero tenemos 1,900 estudiantes, entonces muchos de nuestros padres tienen negocios chicos, entonces no podemos tener como taqueros o aquí todos los días, ¿verdad? Pero sí vamos a tener fiestas, sí vamos a tener espacios donde usted puede venir y traer su negocio. También en el gimnasio tenemos donde usted puede poner su negocio, donde puede poner de lo que usted hace de negocio y ahí lo tenemos en el gimnasio cuando hay juegos de básquetbol, juegos de voleibol y hay mucha gente donde usted puede poner su negocio.
Other questions?
¿Alguna otra pregunta? Sí. Inglés o español. Okay.
My daughter was asking about all passes for bathrooms. They don't have time between if there's so many kids, and sometimes they're late. And the teachers kind of give them a rough time, some of them, especially only like the ones that allow them to go to the bathroom like once or twice a year or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. So I told her if it's an emergency, she can go.
Yeah.
So how do we handle that?
La pregunta fue respecto a los estudiantes tener un pase para ir al baño y específicamente es para los maestros que supuestamente nada más los dejan ir una o dos veces al año, que no es cierto. Pero entonces la pregunta es, ¿qué es lo que yo tengo que hacer? Porque prácticamente yo le dije a mi niña que si es una emergencia, que mejor vaya al baño.
So first of all, that's the best thing to say, right? Because what happens is when you've got a class of 30 students and they haven't gone, they're all hitting you as soon as they come in the door. So often the answer will be, sit down once we get started, then I'll try to let people, go. And sometimes the teacher is busy and they forget. If it's a shy student, introverted student, they might not go back and ask. So I always say that to students as well, if it's an emergency, just go. Because we'll deal with the aftermath after that. They're going to call us and say, so-and-so just walked out. Well, first of all, if it's a student who's never walked out of class, angry, upset, or whatever, right away, something's going on. And that sounds a little bit disrespectful, but it really is the easiest thing to do. If it's an emergency, go take care of the emergencies. Go to the nurse's office if you need to. But just get out of there and deal with it, and then we'll deal with the aftermath of that. And I even tell kids that all the time. We will have that conversation with teachers. The problem is for every student who really gently has to go to the bathroom, you got another 200 that are trying to meet their boyfriend or their girlfriend outside of the classroom, right? So that's the problem, is trying to navigate all that. The other problem we have is vape pens. A vape pen looks like a pen. And so we have halos in the bathroom, which detects THC and smoke and also loud voices. So a fight or any type of a vape pen is detected. But what happens, and we caught a kid yesterday, and literally it was like, duck and cover. The kid literally was in the bathroom for less than 2 minutes, but it alerted, right? And so you have admin, they're running to the bathroom. By that time, the kid's already back from class. So then we're looking at cameras, because now I got cameras everywhere, and we found that student, we took the vape pen, we dealt with all of that. But that's the other problem that we're facing. They know that we're watching all the time, so they're trying to find these, little sneaky ways. And I mean, it was crazy. I'm like, really? I thought that was supposed to be something people did to relax, whatever. He literally was like in and out. So it's a problem. And so teachers are reluctant to let kids out because you don't know if their reasons are genuine. I need to use the restroom. But I would just say, just go, and then I will text Ms. Fairless and let her know and handle the situation. So I'll make sure you have my number.
La respuesta a la pregunta fue, si tu estudiante tiene una emergencia, que vaya al baño. Después, si nos llaman a nosotros diciendo, este estudiante nada más salió, después nosotros le preguntamos, ¿por qué saliste? Y prácticamente nos va a decir para el baño. Uno de los problemas que sí estamos teniendo aquí en la escuela es de las plumas para fumar. Lo que hacen los estudiantes es que van al baño, luego sacan la pluma a fumar. Tenemos detectores en el baño que detectan el humo, que detectan ciertas cosas y luego nos avisan a nosotros. Pero de aquí a que lleguemos nosotros al baño, el estudiante ya puso la pluma adentro y ya está en la clase. Pero a través de las cámaras sí podemos ver. Una de las cosas por las cuales en veces los maestros no quieren dejar es porque si conocen que ese estudiante va a ir a hacer eso, pues obvio no lo va a dejar ya al baño, ¿verdad? Entonces, hay ciertas cosas que los maestros también están balanceando. Te dejamos o vas a andar jugando, vas a andar haciendo cosas que tienes que estar haciendo.
I just sent him to get some of my business cards because it has my cell phone number. For those of you that are at home, we'll make sure we put it in the chat so that you guys have that. It's on my business card. I give it to everybody. And what I find, almost every other principal says, are you crazy? Right? But at the same time, it works because my philosophy has always been, I'd rather you send me a text or call me than to call 5 of your friends and I show up the next day and I got 5 people that are mad about something that maybe didn't happen quite the way you thought, or a situation like that, not really understanding. So I'd rather you send me a message and give me a chance to respond to it. And I learned that as a parent, right? Is that, 10 o'clock at night, my kid would say something that would make me crazy. And then by 6 o'clock the next morning, I was ready to go to school and fight somebody. And I was like, okay, let me slow down and let me make sure that we can try to find out. So I want to do the very same thing for you and so that you can reach out and get answers to your questions. But we'll talk to the teachers about trying to, I hate to say this, but kind of size up the kid. Is this the kid who's always trying to get out of the class, or is this the kid who generally? And then the other thing that I would say is if your child has any health reasons, and we should probably send this out, just contact the nurse's office and they can give them a nurse pass so that they can go when they need to.
Lo que dijo la directora es que ahorita va a traer unas tarjetas donde viene su número de teléfono. Suena un poquito loco que la directora dé su número de teléfono a todas las personas, pero como dijo ella, que es mejor que usted le mande un texto o que le llame a ella para resolver el problema antes de que se haga más grande y haga más problemas el siguiente día aquí en la escuela. Entonces, si tiene algún problema, puede contactarla a ella directamente. Lo que está diciendo, también volviéndonos a la pregunta de antes, es que si tu estudiante tiene algún médico y que él o ella tiene que usar el baño, entonces tráiganos una nota, traiga algo a la oficina para que ella o él vaya con la enfermera y entonces sería más fácil. Sí.
Other question?
¿Alguna otra pregunta? Sí. Ok.
Me sorprende cómo manejan las maestras, porque mi niño me dice, mamá, ¿qué es lo que me han dicho? Me siento algo raro, pido permiso de alguien y necesito ir a la misma noche, yo le digo, y voy por ella aquí y me digo, oh, ella no sé, y tener cómo manejan eso.
Very good question. I have a fourth grade girl who, at that age, they start going through their female. And my question is, what happened if that happens during class time? How do the teachers manage that? Do they just let them go? If they let them go, because I pack a little kit with my little girl where she has all her stuff that she needs to take care of that. But then they might ask her, hey, why are you taking that bag over there to the bathroom? What's going on? So how are the teachers managing that?
Are they in the bathroom? So there was a law that was passed that we're supposed to keep feminine hygiene products in the restrooms. Unfortunately, every day that we stocked them, it emptied out. So, I mean, it was crazy. Now, some of it was really crazy. I hate to even share this because our kids have been so good about not graffiti in the bathrooms or not doing anything. But literally in the middle school building, they took all the pads and they taped them all over the walls in the bathroom. So we thought, okay, this isn't a good plan. But they are stocked in the nurse's office. And so, I would teach my daughter, leave the classroom, go straight to the nurse's office. They have a full supply there. Plus, they can also use the bathroom in there so that they have that privacy. Because unfortunately, for elementary school, you have some kids that have already started their menstrual cycle and others that don't have a clue about it. So then they're in the bathroom and people try and look over stalls and, hey, what's going on? So I would go to the nurse's office because they have the privacy there.
En el principio teníamos todos esos productos en los baños. Tuvimos un problema con la escuela de intermedio donde pusieron todas esas cosas y las pegaron en las paredes. Entonces andaban haciendo muchas travesuras. Vimos que eso no estaba funcionando. Entonces lo que hacemos ahora es que la oficina o adentro con la enfermera, que hay un baño, ahí hay todas esas cosas que ellas van a necesitar. Si pasa esto, lo que sugeremos o lo que queremos que hagan es que vayan directamente con la enfermera. En el baño es un baño privado donde pueden hacer sus cosas y solucionar ese problema. Is there extra clothes that they might need if they? Sí, hay extra ropa.
Yes, the nurses do have extra clothes. And often it comes from people just like you guys. If you have uniforms from the year before that you donate them, we'll wash them, we'll clean them if they come in and they're not clean. And so we keep stuff in there. We also purchase stuff usually at the beginning of the year. So for kids, it's just that they feel something all over them or whatever. That's a great question though, because like I said, times have changed so much, right? And girls are starting earlier and earlier. So that's a really great question. And it's always that, we don't really teach any of that until 5th grade, the end of 5th grade. I always say that's a little late, but that's just the way the state has set it up. So it's really important that parents prepare them for that.
Sí, tenemos todas las cosas que necesitan a través de la enfermera, tenemos toda la ropa. Mucha de la ropa que tenemos ahí son de donaciones de parte de ustedes, los padres. Entonces, si tiene alguna donación o quiere donar alguna ropa específicamente para eso, en la oficina de la enfermera puede donar. Y sabemos que los tiempos están cambiando y las niñas o las muchachas están atravesando sus tiempos más temprano en su vida. Desafortunadamente ahorita damos educación de salud hasta casi cuando se acaba quinto grado y es un poquito tarde. Sí. Just as a comment.
Ellos cuando iban a su mamá y su terapia, donde vivía, yo le compré una posición. Y de hecho, después, porque las primeras veces yo vine 4 veces a la mamá. Entonces, lo que yo hice no transparente ni nada. Y cuando van algo, también se les invitaban que el maestro no la estaba haciendo.
Okay.
Entonces, pues yo le di la confianza y le dije, no, sea maestro, maestra, pero yo tampoco, yo no quiero, yo vivo cerca, y podía venir, de 3 veces una hora, y puedes venir, apenas empezaba, y cualquier cosa que miraba, para ella ya era, se me va del todo, o se me va a salir todo.
Sí, sí, sí.
Y esa opción es la que traigo, bueno, la que traigo aquí, ella la trae siempre en el ya si pasa a mayores, ya hay que tener otro, pero por lo regular, pero en su voluntad,
Just as a note to all the parents, that same thing happened to my daughter. In the beginning, we didn't have anything, but what I started doing is I just started giving her like a little kit every day that she carries with her. Obviously, it's a non-see-through bag, so she has all her feminine products in there. Because in the beginning, she would call me and I would come to the school like 3-4 times. Anything that little that happened, she would get scared, so I would have to come in here and help her out. But I just pack a little bag with extra female products that she needs, just in case.
What was she saying? I don't understand. But she was describing something happened to her daughter?
Yeah, these are one.
Oh, so, okay. So, but was she saying nurse's office?
No, she was just making a suggestion out to all the parents to pack a little bag of extra female products and stuff like that. Just in case any situation or emergency arises.
I think the common, I think we need to make that a little bit more normal because we do have the shy introvert girl who it's hard to tell a male teacher, even a female teacher.
Right. And that's why I want to know, just go to the restroom. We'll deal with the fallout after that. And I do have some high school girls, that's exactly what they do. They just stand up and they go. I mean, even all the years when I taught, there were times I couldn't make it through a class. And so it became almost like a joke with the kids. If they saw me go back to my first, they'd be like, oh, okay. You know, but it's just one of those things. And you just walk out and go, and then we'll deal with any of the aftermath.
Prácticamente también hay que darle un poquito más de confianza a nuestros estudiantes, sea si tiene un maestro que es hombre o maestra que es mujer, para hablar un poquito más y que se sientan confortables en pararse e ir al baño si está atravesando eso, ¿verdad? ¿Alguna otra pregunta?
It's something that could be worn as a school uniform. You know, now we're letting them wear jeans and stuff like that, but because typically they're changing at school. But if you have things to donate also, like coats or sweaters or shoes, I mean, we'll take any of those types of donations.
La pregunta fue referente a las donaciones. ¿Tiene que ser algo que sea específicamente uniforme de la escuela? No tiene que ser específicamente un uniforme de la escuela. Obvio, tiene que ser algo que se puede poner el estudiante durante la escuela porque se va a cambiar aquí, ¿verdad? No le va a poner unos shorts también chiquitos.
Other questions?
Yes.
I'm doing social and sharing, and this is my daughter's first year, so I want to see like those little insights. And I get a text from a hostel building email in the beginning of the week showing me, telling me like what they're gonna do for that week, and then within the whole week, I get nothing else, nothing to physical information other than that. And I would ask the teacher how my daughter has been like throughout the week and like her overall performance and fever, etc. And she just like, oh, awesome. Like that's the same response that I get from my daughter. So I was just
Comment the pictures that they do to encourage teachers to continue doing that, but if I don't get any pictures, no, I can't. Go ahead.
La pregunta fue referente a Class Dojo. Todos saben esa aplicación que se usa casi en todas las escuelas. Prácticamente lo que estaba diciendo es cómo puedo hacerle para que la maestra o maestro participe más en Class Dojo, o prácticamente que me mande más mensajes a través de Class Dojo. Si me manda un mensaje empezando la semana, pero después ya no me manda ningún otro mensaje, o yo le pregunto al maestro o a la maestra y nada más siempre me contesta, está bien, pero no me da ningún detalle. ¿Cómo puedo hacerle para que me dé más detalles de la clase o cómo le está yendo a mi hijo o hija?
So we're a dojo school, pre-K through 5th grade. It's mandatory for teachers. So I will follow up on that. Mr. Hicks is in here. I thought Ms. Park was in here too, but we'll make sure that they know. But that is something that's expected of the teachers. You know, I would much rather they do that than try to personally respond to 25, 26 parents, is just to use the dojo. You can tell by the points that your kid gets, whether it's a good day or a bad day. And so we always really encourage them to use that communication and to post up, you know, some pictures and some things. So I'll just go back and reinforce that because it is an expectation on the elementary side, not middle and high school, but on the elementary side.
Class Dojo es para de kinder a quinto grado, ¿ok? Entonces, de kinder a quinto grado, nosotros aquí en Matter, específicamente la directora, hablamos con los maestros, les decimos a los maestros, tenemos un énfasis con los maestros de usar Class Dojo para comunicarse con los padres. Para nosotros es más fácil que se comunique a través de esta aplicación, que sepa usted como padre cómo le está yendo, te agarraron buenos puntos, negativos puntos. Si vio que su hijo o hija agarró puros negativos puntos, usted va a asumir que no le fue bien en el día, ¿verdad? Si agarró muchos buenos puntos, es que le fue muy bien en su día. Entonces, sí, nosotros, los maestros, tienen que estar participando en Class Dojo y contestando las preguntas que usted tenga a través de Class Dojo.
And I just gave them my card and I said, you know, if it doesn't change after we speak, just send me a text. Because sometimes, because then I asked the teacher, and I won't put that teacher on the glass in front of everybody. Sometimes if they're a new teacher or they're shy themselves, it takes them a while to get used to some of that part of the technology. But we're dojo school, so we'll make sure we take care of that.
La directora le acaba de dar su tarjeta para que se comunique directamente con ella. Prácticamente lo que estaba diciendo ahorita, que Class Dojo sí es una aplicación que todos los maestros tienen que usar, y vamos a hablar con nuestros maestros para que todo eso cambie y que se comunique un poquito más.
Other questions?
¿Alguna otra pregunta?
And my cards are up here, so I want to make sure they.
Las tarjetas están ahí de la directora para que agarre una vez que se vaya.
The cops that are there will be tickets. The speedy, they're not really helping with the traffic. So let me just.
La pregunta fue referente a, yo vivo cerca de la escuela y camino a mis hijos todos los días. Prácticamente la pregunta fue sobre si podemos tener más policía ahí en las intersecciones donde van caminando los estudiantes y hay muchos carros y usted sabe cómo se pone el tráfico y entonces pues, pueden pasar muchas cosas, ¿verdad?
It's actually illegal for us to put our people in the street. Some of you might have seen there's been a couple of days that I went out there and just did it myself because it's so crazy. Because once the crossing guard starts to walk, the traffic has to stop. But they do not want to stop to really let anybody go, and it's like a race. So it is a problem, and we're aware of that. We keep reaching out to traffic safety. They keep complaining because my parents will stop along Bonanza to pick up their kids on the road. So right now it's almost like we're in this fight, right? Like they're not helping protect us because we're not following their laws. So I think I've got to do a better job of getting my parents to know you just can't stop out there, pull into the park, do whatever, use the crosswalk. And then I think when they are here, they might be more willing to support us as opposed to just giving tickets, which is every time we call, that's all they do is start giving tickets to people. And so I think it really is one of those things like the whole community. I'm trying to find out about getting some people trained as cross guards that can be here through the day. So some schools, you know, have like dads that are out there and things like that. Moms can do it as well. So we're trying to see if there's other things that we can do. They would have to be trained. Like I'm illegal when I actually walk out into the street on Bonanza, and so they'll ticket me for that. But we do know it's a big problem, and there's just so many lanes out there. So the biggest thing I'd say is caution the students, don't go until you see all the traffic is stopped, no matter what that crossing guard is doing. You don't step off that curb until you see all the traffic is stopped.
Sabemos que es un problema grande que tenemos cuando salen los estudiantes. Prácticamente yo he tratado, la directora ha tratado de tener más personas allá afuera, pero nosotros como maestros es ilegal o no tenemos que nosotros estar en medio de la calle deteniendo a los carros porque no somos entrenados para eso. La directora quiere entrenar a unas personas, puede ser usted como padre, como madre, voluntarios que nos quieran ayudar, que tomen ese entrenamiento para que nos ayuden en eso, para que más fácil caminen los estudiantes de un lugar a otro lugar. Pero sí es un problema grande y también en veces los carros nada más se paran aquí en la calle La Bonanza, dejan directamente en el tráfico a los niños. Es algo que también nosotros tenemos que ayudarnos entre la escuela con los padres y los padres con la escuela.
Other questions?
¿Alguna otra pregunta?
So like parents going in? So
La pregunta fue referente a cuál es la regla referente a observar a tu hijo o tu hija dentro de la clase.
we always welcome
Tú
parents
como
to come
padre.
in. I don't need a 24-hour notice or something like that. I mean, the main thing I ask is that it is an observation. I've made the mistake before of letting parents come in to observe that it was a parent that was already upset with the teacher, so that didn't go well, obviously. And so, but if you just want to come in and see how your child's acting in the classroom, what sort of is taking place in the classroom, parents are welcome anytime. You just have to check in at the front desk and then let them know. I will tell you, we have an awful lot of young new teachers, and they get very, very nervous. And so I usually ask that we get through the first month of school, which we're through that right now, just to help them kind of get control of their classroom. We're also pushing in a lot of extra support because we're finding that some of our teachers are really struggling with the discipline side of things. And so as long as a parent doesn't come in and try to take control of that classroom, parents are welcome anytime.
La respuesta es, usted es bienvenido a venir aquí a observar a su hijo o hija. De nuevo, es observar, no es que usted sea el maestro o la maestra dentro de la clase, o está diciendo cosas, sino es en forma de observar. Ahorita nosotros tenemos muchos maestros, varios maestros que son nuevos, entonces puede ser un poquito intimidante que usted como padre o que haya varios padres viendo a ese maestro. Entonces pedimos que los primeros meses deje que los maestros se asienten bien con los estudiantes y después, si usted quiere, puede pedir a venir y de nuevo es a observar. ¿Alguna otra pregunta?
When you were talking about getting volunteers for crossing, for helping him, so for kind of basically helping him. There is someone that I know that has a program. I don't know if you heard that in school.
Yeah.
I think they would be like great to possibly get trained. I think they're already trained, but to have them out, see if we can get that group, because I haven't started.
That'd be great, yeah.
To get them out here and also kind of observe the school.
Yeah.
Also, I know that you have had a lot of communication with my son last year, Jose Hernandez and his friend.
Yeah.
Due to some issues that I knew that happened last year that a lot of times were not their fault, but just from other students.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility that there can be kind of like a program started in the school made by kids, made by the youth, and possibly like parents, kind of like a coalition, like a youth coalition? I mentioned that people that did that in California for the youth risk, where we just kind of got together and met with the parents, we met with administration, we met with the kids, kind of what they wanted, what they would like to see, any programs, any kind of, handouts that they wanted to discuss with you guys, with us, and the students in between. Is there like a possibility that we can fit and possibly discuss that and involve maybe the dads in school as well and kind of build like a family oriented kind of like group in our school? And then maybe have it start in our school and we can worship over to other schools and see the opportunities, because last year of all, the finance that the violence that we saw in the schools. And I know, especially in Texas last year, and I know that we don't want that to happen in our schools, especially. And I know our school is pretty safe compared to CPSC, but to me, honestly, as a parent, the same stuff that's gone on last year and was here a couple of times last year, and him coming home and explaining, you know, what was going on, and maybe kind of have that foundation where we can step that in stone and maybe get more of a united with the parents and our own kids.
You must be new to the east side.
No, I'm not.
Because let me say this, I've tried that before, then I end up with parents that are fighting instead of kids. Honestly, I mean, you really have to spend a lot of time on getting everybody involved, because often what happens is for some of my most aggressive students, the parents are as well, right? So they've asked before, can I come in and I meet with the other parent? I've tried that before. And then all of a sudden I realized, I end up leaving that meeting going, so now I know why this kid acts this way, right? Because often it's the environment that you're raised in that leads you right down that path. So we do restorative justice, right? Where they bring those kids together and they give them a chance to talk about what's going on. Even that erupts sometimes into absolute craziness. But the idea is to at least give them a chance to say what is going on and what is bothering them. I think if we work through this committee, like our parent involvement committee, and then maybe there's a branch off that's part of the restorative justice. But I wasn't being facetious when I said that. I've actually tried that before, and I was like, what was I thinking? Of course, this violent kid comes from a history. And so, and because I got little ones in here, I don't even want to tell you some of the messages that have been left on my cell phone about what people are going to do to me in the parking lot, or what happened in my office last year from a parent. So there's another side of being on the east side. And I say the east side with affection because that's why I'm here, right? I'm here because of my experiences at Sunrise Mountain. But often our troubled youth come from very troubled families. And what's always amazing to me is those parents will show up ready to defend their child. They may not be home at night. They might be using drugs. They might be doing all kinds of stuff that has led this child to be so unattached to anything, but they will show up here. So I'm always a little careful about getting parents to involve when there's been some sort of a discipline or some sort of beef, if you will, right? Because often then the problem just becomes bigger. But I do think we use our parent involvement committee and got parents involved, right? Of coming out and just being part of a supportive group. That then when there are discipline issues, that particularly if it pertains to their own child, then they have a more active role. I also have to be careful because when it has to do with discipline, I can't ever let it out to any other parents what child is actually involved in that. So it's just, I got criticized 2 weeks ago, a week ago, when I sent out the letter that we had a situation at the school and that we called the police to investigate. But I had so many parents that want to know what grade that was, what student. And the one thing I said to a parent was, so imagine it's your child and it's under investigation. Would you really want all of that out there, that then your child's going to be bullied and ridiculed and made fun of, or people are afraid, until it's fully investigated? So when it comes to discipline issues, it's so much harder to really have too much parent involvement. Does that make sense?
It wasn't about like restorative justice.
Right.
It's more of a positive thing for the kids. Not so much restorative justice, because I know what restorative justice is.
Right.
It's more kind of like dealing with discipline.
Right.
This would be the other side of the positiveness, to where we have kickball tournaments.
Oh yeah, so that's what this committee's for today. She's going to talk about it. Yep.
Like and have our kids, bring our kids, especially the kids that are at risk.
Yeah.
Bring them involved and kind of show them the positivity, because I know, because I know it's negative household growing up.
Right.
So of course, with my son, I'm going to do the positive.
100%.
He wants to be a positive kid.
Yeah.
So more or less, it's like these kids that have been growing up in such bad environments and dysfunctional families.
Right.
That's where we would come in as parents, and then possible, start bringing in community leaders, and we start doing stuff that's positive, so these kids can see something that's positive and not that negative, to where we have fighting and the parents fighting. So then eventually the parents can start coming in and seeing what their kids are doing and what their kids are being involved in. So with that positiveness, I know how kids be like, oh, that's gonna be boring. No. You guys are going to get involved, and you guys are going to be like, we're going to have a tournament of kickball. Yeah. This is what we're going to do, and this is what we're organizing. You guys are going to organize. We're going to cheer you guys on. Yeah. Let's do that. Something like that, to have a committee where we support, but we have our kids and bring them involved in those. Be like, hey, this is what we're going to do.
And I think Olga's gonna talk about some of that, about what sort of things, but yes, definitely that kind of stuff. I thought you meant like more when they got in trouble, bring your parents. I was like, oh no, I tried that. Yeah, I tried that. That's a lot, but maybe short.
Bien.
Yeah.
La pregunta fue referente a si podemos tener un comité o involucrar un poquito más a los padres para tener un comité o actividades positivas para nosotros, para los estudiantes, entre la escuela y los estudiantes. Y la directora dijo, claro que sí. Ahorita va a hablar otra presentadora referente a en qué manera usted se puede involucrar para que esas cosas positivas y esos comités podamos tener un poquito más de involucramiento de los padres aquí con nosotros.
Other questions?
¿Alguna otra pregunta?
Oh,
La, la pregunta fue a través de la computadora. La pregunta prácticamente dice que mi niña ha tenido dolores de cabeza cuando viene de la escuela, referente a que ella está comiendo afuera en el sol, ahorita está bien caliente, todos sabemos eso, ¿verdad? Entonces, hay una probabilidad o qué puede hacer para que ella pueda comer adentro.
so we're stuck, right, without that other building and have the most unprecedented heat that we've ever had. But I know for middle high school, they have a big tent that we're paying for where they can sit underneath the tent so they're not in the direct sun, they're away from that. It's still warm, right? But I mean, it's, you know, every CCSD school, they're still going outside for the recess in between and all the rest of it. So they don't have to run around, they don't have to do anything, there is shade for them. Elementary, they're usually in here, it's rare when they're not, but so 5th grade, but they go out there where the tents are as well, correct? Yeah, so there's always a shady area that they can get to, always. Now, I'll be honest with you, very few of those kids actually do that. They end up going and sitting with their friends in places, they're sitting right out in it. But there's I don't know if you've seen it. Again, you guys are welcome to take a little tour while you're here today. But there is a huge tent that's out back for them to sit underneath so that they aren't in the direct sunlight and can get out of that heat. But elementary isn't here, except for 5th grade.
Para combatir un poquito de lo que está pasando de la calor extrema que estamos teniendo ahorita, tenemos carpas allá afuera donde hay sombra, donde los estudiantes se pueden sentar a comer. También a los lados hay sombra. Yo sé eso porque yo hago el lonche de intermediario y yo también hago el lonche de secundaria, entonces yo estoy allá afuera. Si el estudiante en realidad quiere sombra, ese estudiante puede comer en la sombra. Lo que pasa es que los estudiantes en vez de estar jugando y andan corriendo en el sol cuando está bien caliente, nos le dan dolor de cabeza porque está haciendo eso. Puede ser una de las cosas que está pasando. Yes, question. Un punto o un comentario es que nosotros como padres tenemos que decirle a los estudiantes que tienen que tomar agua. Llévelo aquí con su frasco de agua, con un frasco para que puedan tener agua durante el recreo. Aquí adentro tenemos todos los dispensadores de agua, puede llenar su frasco durante todo el día. Tenemos como 4 o 5 aquí adentro, entonces no hay problema del cual que no puedan agarrar agua o algo así. Aquí ahí tenemos todos estos.
So our presenters need to present. So if you have some other questions, I'll come back at the end. So that way maybe you'll think of something as well. And then also my cards are up here. We'll let our presenters go and then I'll come back at the end and answer more questions. Okay.
Vamos a seguir con nuestros presentadores porque les toca a ellos. Al final va a regresar la directora. Si tiene alguna otra pregunta para la directora, al final la puede hacer.
Good morning.
Buenos días.
Buenos días. Estoy muy emocionada, gracias a todos por acompañarnos. Normalmente las juntas son un poquito diferentes, pero como queríamos invitar a Mrs. Félix para que viniera a hablar con ustedes y la conocieran, dejamos que presentara primero. So thank you everybody for joining us. Our meetings are typically a little bit different. We wanted Ms. Félix to come out and we all get to see her. Typically, it's just us running the meetings. So I'm gonna well, I'll let you all see this. I'm not gonna go through everything because we're running out of time, but we have Augustin, we have Miss Cristina, Miss Kacynthia.Walton, who are all part of the team. We have Miss Angie back there who does attendance, and Mr. Dakota. So I'm gonna pass it out to Silver Summit to come in and present. What we would like to do is invite community partners for them to join us at these meetings, and just get some resources out to parents for you all to be aware of all the resources that we have available in the community. So I'll pass it on to.
Lo que queremos hacer es traerlos a la gente que trabaja en la comunidad o las organizaciones que trabajan en la comunidad para que presenten aquí con nosotros, para que expongan lo que están haciendo también durante esas juntas. Y se la vamos a pasar.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'll try to make this very short, sweet, and to the point. Buenos días. Trataré de hacer esto muy al punto y directo. Mi nombre es Eduardo y acá está Clinton. Aquí atrás de ustedes vamos a pasar unos folletos acerca de Silver Summit Health Plan. My name is Eduardo, and my community partner here, Clinton, will pass out some folders regarding Silver Summit Health Plan. In regards to Silver Summit Health Plan, if you didn't know, we're one of the 4 managed care organizations for Medicaid. De acuerdo a Silver Summit Health Plan, si no lo sabían, somos uno de los plans, plan de seguros aquí en Nevada para Medicaid. We've been here for 5 years, right? This is our 5th year going strong. And we offer health-related services as well as value-added benefits to anybody that has Silver Summit Health Plan for their Medicaid insurance. Allá aquí tenemos 5 años aproximadamente y seguimos fuertes. Ofrecemos seguros, servicios médicos, además beneficios agregados para nuestros miembros que tienen Silver Summit Health Plan bajo Medicaid y Nevada Checkup. Nuestro enfoque es muy fácil, es alcance a la comunidad. Our focus is very, very simple, and that's community outreach. And so we do this through tabling events at health and resource fairs. We are at food distribution sites. We're at schools like this one. So we're pretty much everywhere, wherever our members are at, wherever our vulnerable communities are at, we want to be there for our community and help them transform their life for a healthier lifestyle. Nuestro enfoque es muy simple, es alcance a la comunidad. Estamos prácticamente en todas partes donde estén nuestros miembros, ahí queremos estar, ya siendo en bancos de comida, escuelas como esta, iglesias, y simplemente queremos ayudar a nuestros miembros y a nuestra comunidad en general a vivir, tener vidas más saludables. So this morning, I just want to share with you some of our value-added benefits that you may be eligible for under Medicaid, under Silver Summit Health Plan. Esta mañana solamente quiero repasar algunos de nuestros beneficios agregados que usted puede calificar bajo Medicaid y si escoge a Silver Summit Health Plan como su seguro médico. First and foremost, right, we're currently offering free Costco cards to our members all year long, right? Primero de todo, estamos ofreciendo tarjetas de Costco, membresía de Costco completamente gratis para nuestros miembros. All right, for that, you do have to be 21 years and above under Medicaid, under Silver Summit Health Plan to qualify for a Costco card. Para eso, sí tiene que tener Medicaid, tiene que tener Silver Summit Health Plan como su seguro médico y tiene que tener 21 años de edad. Now, the cool thing about this, right, once you have your Costco card, you could add any additional account holder, doesn't matter who it is. Lo bonito de esto es que ya usted teniendo su tarjeta de Costco puede agregar a cualquier otra persona como su secundario, no importa quién sea, mientras tenga 18 años para arriba. As long as they're 18 years and above, you're able to add that. Another top value-added benefit that we offer, currently we're offering gym membership cards to local gyms such as Las Vegas Athletic Clubs, EOS, Platinum Fitness, and that's $120 towards that gym membership. Otra cosa que estamos ofreciendo actualmente es membresías para el gimnasio, aquí en gimnasios locales en Las Vegas como Las Vegas Athletic Club, EOS, Planet Fitness, y serían $120 hacer para ese gimnasio local, esa membresía anual. Another thing is, for our pregnant moms, we offer a Start Smart for Your Baby program. In summary, we deliver cribs, high chairs, booster seats, baby essentials to you and all through case management. That's one of the requirements. And para agregar otra cosita, es que me están hablando allá atrás, para una cosita, también para nuestras mamás que están esperando bebés, tenemos un programa que se llama Start Smart for Your Baby, que en mis palabras, para no ser la historia larga, ofrecemos booster seats, portabebés, cunas y esenciales para bebé, completamente gratis, todo a través de nuestro programa de case management, ¿ok? Ya voy terminando, aquí tengo unos 5 minutitos. Otra cosa que queremos agregar para el próximo año, estamos agregando un beneficio para el YMCA, pero quiero clarificar que eso solamente empieza el 2023 y son 4 programas disponibles, que sería su membresía general, sería deportes y actividades para después de escuela. También hay un programa donde le ayudan a buscar un trabajo para natación. Son uno de los programas, pero esto no va a ser hasta el 2023. Another thing I want to add is our YMCA benefit, but that's going to go live in 2023, right? We're offering programs such as their general membership, as well as after school activities such as sports, and as well as their career program, which they help lifeguards, swim and, do all that lifeguard job duties. In addition, ya voy terminando, se los prometo, estamos ofreciendo también My Health Pays, que está enfrente de ustedes. Ese es un programa muy exitoso. Prácticamente le damos hasta $800 en Visa Card por completar acciones saludables, como ir al doctor, cosas que ya estamos haciendo. One of our most successful programs we have is My Health Pay Rewards, which is right in front of you. In summary, we give you up to $800 in Visa Card by completing healthy actions like going to your doctor, getting some vaccinations. And so this is automatically, you're enrolled as one of being a Silver Summit Health Plan automatically. And this card, it actually looks like this. This PIN card is mailed to your home directly. And as you complete healthy actions, we just load the money to your card. Y ya usted automáticamente siendo un miembro de Silver Summit Health Plan, lo enrolamos a este programa y mientras usted esté completando acciones saludables, le damos dinero a esta tarjeta que usted puede usar prácticamente en donde usted guste, ¿verdad? All right, well, with that being said, open enrollment is here, right? And what is open enrollment? Open enrollment means that you're able, as a Medicaid recipient, change to any managed care organization that you want. Right now is the chance, now into the end of October 31st, to change plans. And Silver Summit Health Plan takes the stand that if you're currently, being assisted on your current plan under Medicaid, stay with them. If you like it, perfect. The main focus here is you're getting your healthcare needs met, right? But if you're looking to change, right now is your chance to do it. We'll be more than happy to have you as one of our members to qualify, to get these awesome benefits such as hospital card, gym card, My Health Pays. Now is your chance to switch to us and get enrolled with us and get, these benefits. Ahora, otra cosita, ya voy a terminar. Aquí ya tengo mi reloj, tengo 4 minutitos. Open Enrollment, el periodo de cambiarse empieza ya desde hasta el fin de octubre 31. Y exactamente qué es este periodo, ¿verdad? Cualquier persona, niño que tenga Medicaid bajo uno de los 4 seguros médicos, incluyendo nosotros, puede cambiarse a cualquier plan que usted desee, ¿verdad? Y la perspectiva que tenemos aquí en Silver Summit Health Plan, si usted tiene otro plan que no sea nosotros, ¿verdad? Y todo está funcionando bien, tiene sus doctores, está perfectamente bien, no se tiene que cambiar. Simplemente le queremos expresar que tiene opciones y nosotros estuviéramos más que contentos de tenerlos como miembros y se pueda cambiar a nosotros para obtener estos beneficios que les acabo de mencionar. Esto termina el 31 de octubre. Allá atrás tenemos formas si gustan cambiar, llenar y entregar a la oficina de welfare. Y ahí podemos orientarle un poquito más. We have some switch forms at the very back with Clinton. If you like to switch, we'll be more than happy to give you one and guide you through the whole process and turn it into the welfare office. With that being said, I have 3 minutes for questions. Tengo 3 minutos para preguntas. Sí. Ujú. Muy buena pregunta. So she asked regarding my health pay rewards. Once she gets it and no more money is loaded, if she toss it away. Para responderle, no, usted lo tiene porque cada año se renueven otra vez los programas. No lo tire, porque eso, allá automáticamente el dinero está cargado a esa tarjeta. O sea, y si lo tira, pues está tirando su dinero. No quiere eso, ¿verdad? So the question is, no, don't throw away the My Health Pay rewards cards. Though money's loaded automatically based on the procedures you get completed throughout the year, such as your annual exam, vaccinations, etc. Very good question. Thank you. Otra pregunta. Question. Yes. So, para cambiarse, good question. Preguntó que cuál otra forma puede cambiarse de seguro médico y cuál es el último día. El último día es el 31 de octubre, ¿verdad? Y puede cambiarse a través, llenando esa forma, ese switch form físicamente. También lo puede hacer por internet, visitando al welfare, al website. No sé exactamente el link. Son de las formas que usted puede cambiarse. Puede hablar también a la oficina de welfare para hacerlo, ¿verdad? Pero usted físicamente lo tiene que hacer. No lo podemos llenar por ustedes. So ways to change plans. The last day is October 31st. You could do it by completing the physical document, the change form. You could do it online as well through the state website. But you physically have to complete it yourself. We cannot complete it for you. Okay? Good question. Otras preguntitas? Questions? Sí. Yeah, so we do have virtual, we have our 24/7 nurse hotline, which you could access 24/7. And we do have teledoc. That's as simple as calling customer service to give you more information. Así tenemos opción de doctor virtual y es tan simple como hablar a nuestro servicio de cliente y ellos le pueden dar la orientación que necesita para tener acceso al doctor virtual. Okay. A question? Oh, good. Okay. Preguntas, questions? That's it. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. And miren, 19 segundos, me di 12 minutitos. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
And then we have our next guest speaker, NAMI, they're the National Alliance on Mental Illness. We have Kimberly Chavez and Ashley Floyd.
Tenemos nuestras siguientes presentadoras de NAMI, que es una asociación o una organización no lucrativa de mejoramiento mental, salud mental.
We can pass them up for you guys. Great. Hello, everyone. I'm Ashley Floyd. I'm the program coordinator for NAMI. My beautiful coworker is Kimberly Chavez. She's the volunteer coordinator. And what we just want to talk with you about, a lot of times there's, when we say the word mental wellness, there's a little bit of what we call a stigma, meaning that it's kind of something we don't talk about. We think of the words like crazy or that person, and there's something wrong with them. We don't want to talk about mental wellness sometimes, but it's really important, and our kids are going through a lot of things. Social media alone is really increasing the risk that there are for children to get potentially, I don't know if, so yeah, there's negative influences that are impacting a lot of our children, and they have a lot more stress that they're going through than we were going through at their age, because there's just, everything's intensified. So We are an organization that provides education, support, and outreach to help people discuss mental health challenges. Is there a transmitter that I could use? Yes, sorry. No, you're fine. Yeah.
That was a lot. So if you just say mental wellness, sometimes we don't talk about it. It's a lot of fear behind it, but children are going through a lot.
Lo que estaba diciendo la presentadora prácticamente es que la organización de ellos es para salud mental, que hemos hablado desde el principio. En estos tiempos sabemos que hay mucha media, muchas redes sociales que nuestros estudiantes o nuestros hijos e hijas están tratando o están viendo, ¿verdad? Y hay mucha presión y muchas cosas así que están afectando la salud mental de nuestros estudiantes. Es la organización de ellos, es lo que ellas es lo que se entiende.
So what we offer that might be in the systems, first thing you should know about us is everything we provide to the community is free. It costs you nothing. The second thing you can know is that we provide services both to youth and to parents. So we offer free classes, support groups, presentations, and services that is at no cost to you.
Lo primero que quieren que sepan ustedes como padres es todos los grupos o todos los beneficios que ellas ofrecen es gratis. Grupos, lo que las presentaciones, los videos, cualquier otra cosa que ellos presenten o ofrezcan es gratis para los estudiantes y también para los padres.
And so some of the handouts that you got, there is a class that if your child is showing some signs of poor mental wellness, they're stressed, they're emotional, they're crying a lot, they don't talk to you, they're showing signs that there's something maybe wrong. There's a class that you can take called NAMI Basics. It's a 6-week class. You can do it online. You can also do it in person. So that's one class.
Una de las clases que dura 6 semanas es a través de la computadora, que también pueden hacer, se llama las básicas de NAMI. NAMI, de nuevo, volvemos al tema, es de salud mental. Entonces, si su hijo o hija o estudiante está teniendo señales, a lo mejor está llorando mucho, no se puede hablar o platicar con su estudiante, prácticamente usted está notando que no se está comportando regularmente como ese estudiante se comporta, como su hijo o hija se comporta, ellos ofrecen esa clase.
And so also one important thing is we don't want to talk about it, but suicide is real. A lot of parents may not know how to have the conversations to see if their loved one is thinking those thoughts. So we have presentations that we give to both the youth and to parents on how to communicate if they're having challenges, how to recognize warning signs, and how to get them help.
Una de las clases o uno de los videos que ellas presentan es un tema un poquito fuerte que es el suicidio, ¿verdad? Aunque a veces no quisiéramos hablar de estos temas, son reales y suceden. Entonces, a través de esa clase también son videos y clases que ellas ofrecen a través de esa organización NAMI.
Thank you. And so that class is called NAMI, Ending the Silence, and we gave you a brochure for that.
Le dimos un folleto de esa clase, se llama NAMI, Combatiendo el Silencio.
And so we also have started a teen text line that is operated by trained peer support specialists. So if you feel like, your child is always on the phone and you don't know who they're talking to, this is a great resource. They're texting and they can talk to trained peer support specialists or young adults that have been trained to be able to help young people who have mental health problems and help them understand that they need to talk to their parents, they need to talk to a professional, need help. So there is a teen text line as well.
Otro programa que tienen se llama a través de texto. Su estudiante puede mandar un texto a ese número de teléfono, el folleto también se lo dieron, si se está sintiendo de alguna manera, si usted de nuevo se está viendo que no puede hablar con su hijo, hija o su estudiante, entonces, y si el estudiante le gusta prácticamente estar en su teléfono todo el día y nada más mandar textos, puede hablar a través de texto con esas personas están entrenadas específicamente en las áreas donde están dando servicios.
And so the second to last thing I want to share with you is we recognize that there's a lot of stigma in the communities for African American and Hispanic Latino communities. We don't talk about it. A lot of the time, faith is a part of it because, we can just pray about it, or it's just something that's wrong with the person, but we don't talk. And we want to have conversations with you all to talk about why we don't talk about it and how can we engage the Hispanic community more so that we have these conversations. So we have a program called NAMI Compartiendo Esperanza, and we have an upcoming event at Equipo Academy.
Okay. So yeah, we have an event called Compartiendo Esperanza, and okay. So nuestra meta es empezar estas presentaciones y grupos de apoyos en español, pero no tenemos ahorita los voluntarios que pueden facilitar esos programas y las presentaciones y los grupos de apoyo. So queremos empezar a hacer conversaciones, y una manera que vamos a hacer eso es, vamos a tener un evento el jueves septiembre 22 en Equipo Academy, aquí en Bonanza, de las 6 a las 8:30, y va a haber comida y vamos a hablar de la salud mental y vamos a enseñar videos y vamos a separar a las personas entre 3 grupos. Van a ser los padres, los hijos y miembros de la comunidad. Y vamos a hablar de la importancia de la salud mental y cómo empezar esta conversación, que es muy importante y muy necesaria.
And so we are offering the Compartiendo Esperanza in English and in Spanish. So that opportunity is there. And then we have one for the African American community too, called NAMI Sharing Hope. So for the African American community, we have one on Friday, September 23rd, and we're going to have breakout sessions for youth and for adult family members to go and have those conversations.
Resumiendo lo que estaban diciendo, es que prácticamente en nuestra comunidad latina, que es cierto, nosotros casi no hablamos mucho de salud mental, o es algo que no platicamos mucho con nuestros hijos o entre nosotros. Entonces, un programa muy bueno que tienen ellos se llama Compartiendo Esperanza. Entonces, es donde nosotros como comunidad de afroamericanos o también latinos tenemos que aprender a hablar un poquito más referente a esos temas que están afectando a nuestros estudiantes, ¿verdad? A nuestros hijos, a nuestras hijas. Entonces, a través de Compartiendo Esperanza, usted puede venir, usted puede hablar con gente que está entrenada profesionalmente para que le dé ayuda.
And the last thing, there's a lot, but this just lets you know we do a lot, and we do it for free, and we do it for you. So we offer a lot of opportunities, and I'm glad to be able to share it. The last one is those programs that you had the brochures for, the NAMI Basics class, the NAMI Ending the Silence presentations. We actually have some upcoming presentations of those and upcoming classes. So the last flyer, one says NAMI Ending the Silence. At the libraries, we're partnering with the Clark County Libraries, holding and ending the silence for family members of youth and teenagers. That's going to help you understand how to recognize warning signs in your youth, and to, if you need to have conversations, what to say and what not to say, to get them to open up to you about their mental health challenges. And we also have one for students in September as well. This month is Suicide Prevention Month. So we have one for students also. We do the family ones first because it's important that you understand it before we tell them about it. We want them, you to be prepared when they participate, that you know how to communicate with them about that. And then on the back, we have the upcoming basics class for families of youth with mental health challenges.
En este folleto que tiene aquí, En los dos lados se están involucrando un poquito más ellas con las bibliotecas, entonces tienen diferentes clases en diferentes bibliotecas, ahí vienen el tiempo y las fechas y todo, y de nuevo es involucrar un poquito más a los padres y abrir esa brecha para que haga esas conversaciones, por supuesto, de compartiendo esperanza, de terminar en silencio y todas esas clases que ellos tienen.
So that's a lot, but that's everything. And if you didn't get materials, we have some over there. But thank you for your time. And just know that we really want to support you. I'm a person as a kid, when I was younger, when I was 12 years old, I attempted suicide. So I know how real it is for a middle schooler to be so overwhelmed that they don't want to talk to anyone. They'd rather not be here than to deal with the pain. So as someone who's been there, I want to help other people not have to go through that pain.
Y gracias de nuevo por estar aquí. A través de todos los folletos y todas las diferentes clases, usted puede ver todas las oportunidades que hay para que usted tenga ese tiempo. Yo, específicamente ella hablando, tuvo ciertos problemas en esas clases. Usted puede hablar con sus hijos o hijas que les va a ayudar.
All right, so thank you so much for your
Muchas
time.
gracias por venir.
I just want to add a couple of things about that. So thank you for being here. That's so timely, and hopefully our families will come over and support the event at Equipo. And then once we get our new building, we can have some events here. It's just really timely. I just wanted to say this because I often think about this, is that why, obviously the pandemic had an effect, but why is it that it just seems like there's so much more anxiety, depression, all this with you? And one of the things I read just last night was the simple fact that before 2010, social media did not have the influence it has today. So suicide wasn't an option. You didn't hear about it, right? You only heard about it on the news if it was a celebrity or somebody. And most teenagers don't really watch the news. So the problem is now that everybody's got a cell phone, everybody's got access to social media, they hear about every single suicide attempt or success, if you want to use that word. But for celebrities, social influencers, everybody that you could imagine. So it wasn't even an option. So that's why you have to really discuss this at home and make sure you're really aware of what they are paying attention to. Because I've had a hard time trying to understand that. When I grew up, I mean, I'm old, I'm 62, but suicide wasn't an option. I did not know anybody that committed suicide. Now there's been suicides in my own family, very young. So it's just something that we all have to realize. I'm so excited to have you guys here because I just was reading this stuff and they said it takes about 13 weeks for the average teenager to get a mental health appointment. Are you guys able to get people in much faster than that? Yes? So that, I mean, I just heard that 13 weeks. I'm like, by 13 weeks, that's ridiculous, right? So anyway, you can shorten that because they got some other stuff to cover, but I just know it's important. And like I said, it really hit me last night, this whole idea about it was never an option because we just didn't hear about it. Now you hear about it, every celebrity, every person, right?
El comentario de la directora es, ella estaba pensando que por qué ahora estamos escuchando tanto de la ansiedad, de los problemas mentales que tienen los estudiantes. ¿Qué está pasando específicamente en este tiempo? Lo que estaba diciendo la directora es que específicamente vamos de nuevo a las redes y la información que usted puede agarrar rápido en su teléfono. Sea el suicidio, luego no sabe. Luego sabe lo que pasó, luego sabe lo que está pasando en las redes y todo eso. Y entonces, si también le hice una pregunta a NAMI, ella dijo que ahorita más o menos duran como 13 semanas para hacer una cita, si usted quiere ir con su hijo o hija referente a salud mental. Pero les preguntaron a ellas que si los pueden ver más rápido y ellas dijeron que sí. O las clases van a estar más rápido y van a estar la información ahí.
It's not clicking.
So typically we talk about our past events. I'm not going to go over that. We had great football games. It was a great turnout. Another thing that we had was physicals. We did those on campus. We weren't able to get everybody, but we did about probably close to 60 physicals on campus. So that was a huge success. We're going to schedule another day for that for our athletes to get their physicals completed. Some of the important dates that we have coming up is Picture Day. And that's going to be next week for the high school students. If we're not able to get them all pictured that day, we will schedule a second day, but we'll send out more. We are starting to see new partners with just one product. So just one project, we partner with them, and what they're going to be coming to our campus once a month during drop off. We're going to have them set up in the back by the car loop, and they're going to be giving out food for any families that need some extra help that month.
Este prácticamente es el calendario de los eventos que van a estar pasando durante este mes, ¿verdad? Uno de los eventos que dijo que es muy importante es que la organización que se llama Just One Project es distribución de comida. Entonces, en esa fecha que está viendo en septiembre 15, ellos van a tener aquí para comida y te van a distribuir comida cuando usted esté dejando a sus estudiantes. Eso va a suceder una vez al mes, cada mes, gracias a esa organización.
And we'll send out more information as the date gets closer of the exact details. Another important day, our custodial day is coming up, and we try to celebrate our custodian crew. They work very hard. Usually we try to do a little basket. We're going to change it up this year, and we're going to make our culinary students are going to make a steak lunch for them. And we're also going to have a folklorico perform for them. So just to all give you an idea, this is one of the things that we need help with, right? We put on these meetings so that we can get you all involved, and just like you all had all the questions at the beginning, we want you all to be involved. We want your suggestions. Yesterday, I was part of the folklorico meeting, and they brought up some great points. Oftentimes, we are running around, doing everything on our end, but we don't know your side. So all your suggestions, all your comments, those are things that are super important to us. And as always, we need your help. We have pep rally coming up. Those are all the dances coming up. And we'll be sending this out through email, always social media. And we'll also be posting this to our YouTube page. So the homecoming time is incorrect. It's actually not 4 to 6. It's 7 to 9. Okay, so we'll be updating that. So if we can get all of your help too for those events to come in and help us decorate, that would be wonderful. We'll be sending out some more information and then have some sign up genius apps for you guys to sign. We also have the Fall Festival. Originally, we were going to have it on the 31st, but we changed it up a little bit just because we want our community partners involved, as well as you all to come in. It was scheduled for Halloween, but we have it for the 26th, and that will take place over in the pod area. We should have our building by then, so we hope for it to be a great turnout. It won't be on the field, because as you know, it's all under construction.
Una buena oportunidad para que usted venga a apoyar en el festival de jóvenes que vamos a tener va a ser octubre 26. Una buena oportunidad para que usted venga, si nos quiere ayudar a decorar, si nos quiere ayudar.
So for our SBAC celebration, we are planning on taking the students who passed both SBACs past year to Cowabunga Bay, and we're going to be celebrating that towards the end of May, end of spring, early May. And these are for any of the students that passed the test last year. So right around that same time, they'll be taking SBAC. For this year, we'll be sending out that information and really pumping the students up. So, and then it'll be in the spring, April, May. No, it's third grade. The kids who took SBAC is third grade and up.
de tercero en arriba.
¿Cuál evento? Oh, Fall Festival. We will send out the information. I will text you. Do you have any questions about it?
Elementary there. What night?
So we'll send out those details, but typically elementary dances are right after school. We take maybe, and it'll be the day of our PIC meeting. So what we'd like to do is get you all involved to help decorate that day so that it's ready to go that afternoon. But typically it's right after school. So on the forms there we passed out, we listed all of the PIC dates. The only one that is incorrect is April. Well, on there it's incorrect. You all have the correct date, the incorrect date. So you guys can change that to the 12th. Will be on spring break during that time. So it is April 12th.
La única que está incorrecta es de abril. Póngale, por favor, va a ser abril 12, va a ser la correcta fecha.
And then again, we post these videos. What we try to do is send out the video for any parents that couldn't make it and are able to view it later. And then we also answer any of the questions that are in the group chats. That was during the COVID times that we did the Zoom stuff. But these are our links. We try to share those, and you all can follow it. And of course, follow Ms. Velas's TikToks. So if there's any other questions.
Which date is correct? April 12th or April 5th?
April the 12th.
Aquí tienen todas las redes sociales. Ahí
Do we have any more questions?
Para finalizar, algo más.
Well, thank you again. Thank you so much, Summit.
Muchas gracias a los Summit. Gracias.